you to comply and incriminate and self-incriminate. But when the elements of this world take over, which we, as Lakota, Native American people, know when technology fails, there's no limits what the elements of this world is going to do, and they take over this computer, the World Wide Web, this money god, all of it. So pray you don't get yourselves trapped by power of choice in those devices and corner yourselves with the trickster of the World Wide Web. These are all prophecies. Clean your own teepee. Clean your own home. Lead by example. You know how we killed Custer? My great-great-grandpa, his crazy horse, was the one who got it done. I come from Chief Hump on my mom's side. We were exiled as non-treaty signers, considered hostile. Because our women stayed home and believed in our men, and they prayed from home, and they stayed there, and they fed that fire, and our men went out there, and we believed, and we kept a balance there, and we used our magic, and it works today. Today we still got it. This is all done. I just hope you guys stay safe out there, and I sure hope they don't start spraying dye on you guys, for real, because they're going to start marking everybody. We had held all this, we did all this up in Standing Rock, for real. I mean, you're going to get conditioned to it after a while. You know what I mean? I mean, we fight federal land, federal law. So it all trickles down to everybody here. Know your rights while you still can, while you still have them. Google your rights. And as American Indian Movement, free Leonard Peltier. 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 Free 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 Peltier. That's the song that we sang when we made treaties with all of the squatters that came during Thanksgiving. So that's our song. Honor the treaties and honor our women, because Turtle Island is a woman, and all we are, we're the spirit and the vertebrae of her. Keep your womb, keep your home, keep your teepees clean. I love each and every one of you. I don't say that in vain. I really mean that. There's some really serious evil in this world. And pray for your enemies. And just like Wovoka said during the ghost dance before they cut us down in Wounded Knee. After we took them, he said, Wovoka, and he said, don't cry when your friends die. Just keep singing and dancing, and I will satisfy you. These are our friends that took an oath to the government. Don't cry when they die. Our Creator satisfies us. Stay on the right side of history. Keep your names on the right side of history, and pray for your enemies. Just kill it with kindness. Don't be predictable. That's how we kicked their ass up there in Standing Rock, 1890. Even when they were in 1974 in Wounded Knee, when they took Peltier as a sacrifice. If you free Peltier, then all of us will be able to come out too. That's why they hold him, because that will break and shatter everything, because they're false. So if you pray for him, all these other things that are people, even on the other side in the spirit world, still traveling. I'm sorry I can't say the dead's name in my culture. We don't say their name when they've left. We give them honor and dignity and respect as they left into the next life, for we will see them again. We smile at the sky, and they smile back through that sun. In a weightless room, they got us. Have faith, have no fear. Like I said before, fear and faith is like mixing water and oil. Hoy chichichepi. My people who are out there watching, I hope I didn't tell you guys, hey, it's all, it's not rehearsed. All my relations, Kitaki and Wasi. Thank you for having on.
Hi, I'm one of the speakers representing the Latinx community. I just kind of want to go over issues that expand more than just the police. The ranging victims of the police needs to be acknowledged in order to move forward with the abolishment of the foot soldiers that enforce this racist, oppressive system. The corruption, brutality, and racism of the police not only had origins in the Deep South as slave catchers or in the North as Union suppressors, but they also had roots in Texas under the guise of the Texas Rangers, the sole purpose of which was to brutalize and murder the Mexican and indigenous for no crimes, but just for existing. Unsurprisingly, many moving forward assumed the position of border patrol. As we acknowledge our history with police being one of racism and brutality, we need to look at the staggering differences of the rates of death for our Latin community to that of our white counterparts. Between 2016 and 2018, Latinos in California made up 39% of the population, but represented 46% of deadly police shootings. As I prepared for this Say Her Name rally, I think of the Wall of Moms in Portland, which is awesome and brave and noble, don't get me wrong. I see people post, protect our moms, in regards to these women. How about our fucking moms? How come no one acknowledges the selflessness and the bravery of our mothers who leave their life behind to come to a new country with no resources, not knowing the language, demonized by our government and our racist citizens?
That's great!
During the pandemic, they work in your factories, take care of your elders, make the meat, cheese, and vegetables on your plate. All so their children can have a chance at a better life. These mothers who work thanklessly for this country don't have access to the supposed resources white women have. Many mothers are undocumented and live in the fear of deportation, so calling the police is not an option. Even American citizens of color don't call the police because history has proven time and time and again that we are not only cared for, but resented. I learned this as a young girl when I was no longer allowed to speak English in the house out of protection. I learned this when I would bleach my skin because I felt ugly based off the treatment I got from my teachers and other students. My Latin community, I ask you that even though we face our own struggles, that we continue to fight for our Black and our Black trans neighbors. As Barbara Smith explained in The Importance of Intersectionality, freedom and justice for the most oppressed means freedom and justice for all. I want to end on the story of Magdalena Mateo. Magdalena Mateo is a Guatemalan woman who was working at a poultry factory in Mississippi during one of ICE's largest worksite raids. She now fears up to a decade in federal prison and deportation. Many mothers during this raid were ripped from their children they were trying to protect. And many mothers are now forced to either decide whether their children would remain in prison with them or are given up to a sponsor. In an interview with Magdalena, she said, "I didn't do anything wrong. I was just
down
working.
Too far because there's no violence.
I need you to say her name. Magdalena Mateo. Magdalena Mateo. When you fight for abolition of the police, fight for abolition of ICE, because they are the same fucking filth. La migra, la policía, la misma porquería. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's important for us to recognize that today we stand here 50 years since the Stonewall riots transpired. They're often described as riots, but I like to describe them as rebellions. The Stonewall Rebellion was a rebellion that sparked against the police brutality that trans and queer people were experiencing in this nation. It was a rebellion against the very system, that system being the police, that continued to keep queer Americans oppressed and often was the result of our deaths. The police have a long and dark history of unjustly policing queer Americans. And this history is apparent still to this day. We have seen trans women of color being locked up just because the police thought that they looked like sex workers. We have seen police refuse to investigate the murders of trans people because they thought, and I quote, "The public doesn't care." And we have seen trans women being continuously sent to solitary confinement in prisons, which is a torture method on top of already being in prison, simply because their fellow prisoners violently attacked them.
Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry.
The national call to abolish the police and rethink communal safety is indeed an LGBTQ issue that white gay men in corporate offices need to be paying attention to. The national call to abolish the police is indeed a feminist issue that white women who are focused on breaking the glass ceiling need to be paying attention to instead. We cannot
just gonna go
break
cop watch
the glass ceiling when we are being killed by the police.
Thank you
In
for
order
tuning in. Love you guys.
for
Take
women
care.
of color, trans
Appreciate you
women,
guys.
poor women, Muslim women, disabled women, to break the glass ceiling, we must first and foremost be allowed into the building. This is what the fight towards feminism is about. It is about empowering and fighting alongside women that have to overcome many obstacles